She had grown up knowing what it meant to be looked at with disappointment. Her weight had always come before her name, her worth measured by whispers and sideways glances. In her family's small, struggling home, every hardship seemed to circle back to her existence. When crops failed or debts piled up, blame settled on her shoulders as easily as dust. And when an argument with a powerful local elder erupted, it was decided she would be given to a poor farmer as repayment and shame combined, a living reminder of obedience. No one asked her what she wanted. No one considered that she was still young, still fragile inside. The farmer lived far from the village, beyond long stretches of dry land and winding dirt roads. The journey felt endless, each step pulling her further from everything she knew, even if what she knew was cruelty. In her mind, she imagined the farmer as everyone described him: old, harsh, broken by poverty, someone who would see her exactly as others did, useless, unwanted. Fear sat heavy in her chest, heavier than the body she had learned to hate. When she finally reached the farmhouse, it looked nothing like she expected. It was simple, yes, but sturdy, surrounded by wide open land that disappeared into the horizon. The air smelled of soil and grass, not decay. Still, she kept her head down, bracing for the inevitable rejection. The farmer, a quiet man with weathered hands and calm eyes, did not greet her with anger or triumph. He simply acknowledged her presence and continued with his work, as if she were not a punishment but a responsibility fate had placed in his care. The first days were the hardest. Her body struggled with the physical demands of rural life, and her heart struggled even more with the silence. She expected insults, orders, reminders of her supposed worthlessness. Instead, she was given space. Work was shared, not forced. Food was simple but enough, offered without judgment. At night, exhaustion replaced fear, and she slept deeper than she had in years. Still, pain does not disappear just because kindness appears. She carried years of shame inside her, each movement reminding her of the way people had laughed, the way her own family had looked away. When she failed at tasks, she assumed anger would follow. But it never did. The farmer corrected gently or simply redid the work himself. Slowly, confusion replaced terror. She did not understand why he treated her like a human being. As weeks turned into months, something inside her began to shift. Her body, once mocked, grew stronger from honest labor. Her breathing steadied. Her reflection in the water trough no longer filled her with the same disgust. She was still obese, still far from the beauty standards that had wounded her, but she was capable. She could lift, plant, harvest, endure. For the first time, her body felt like an ally rather than a curse. The land around her told its own story. What she had thought was a poor, failing farm revealed itself slowly, season by season. Fields stretched farther than she could see, carefully managed, rotated, protected. Workers came and went, treating the farmer with respect that surprised her. Paperwork, storage barns, distant plots of land, all of it hinted at something far larger than the humble image he allowed the world to see. She realized then that poverty was a mask he wore, not a truth he lived. He owned thousands of acres, inherited and expanded quietly, choosing simplicity over status. He knew what greed did to people, how power invited cruelty. So he stayed invisible. And because he stayed invisible, the village believed him weak, poor, insignificant, just like they believed her to be. One evening, as the sun bled into the earth, she understood the connection between them. They were both judged by appearances, reduced to assumptions that stripped away their humanity. The realization broke something open inside her. For the first time, she was not alone in her pain. Change did not come in grand moments but in small, steady ones. She learned to manage parts of the farm, discovered she had a sharp mind for planning and organization. Numbers made sense to her. Patterns emerged where others saw chaos. The farmer noticed, quietly giving her more responsibility. With each success, her confidence grew, fragile at first, then firmer. The shame that once bent her spine began to loosen its grip. Memories of the village still haunted her. She remembered being handed over like an object, remembered her mother's silence, her father's defeated eyes. Anger simmered beneath her growing strength, but it no longer consumed her. Instead, it fueled her determination to become more than what they had decided she was. The turning point came when trouble threatened the farm. A group of officials arrived, questioning land rights, attempting to intimidate and claim what they believed the farmer could not defend. She watched from a distance as the calm man she knew transformed, not into rage but into quiet authority. Documents were produced, boundaries clearly defined, ownership undeniable. The officials left humbled, their assumptions shattered. That night, she understood the full truth. Power did not always shout. Sometimes it waited, patient and grounded, like deep roots beneath fertile soil. And for the first time in her life, she felt proud not just to stand beside someone powerful, but to have become powerful in her own way. As seasons passed, the girl who arrived trembling no longer existed. In her place stood a woman who had learned to value herself beyond appearance. She was still obese, still imperfect by cruel standards, but she was strong, respected, needed. Workers sought her guidance. The farmer trusted her judgment. The land responded to her care. Eventually, word traveled back to the village. People spoke in disbelief about the thriving farm, about the girl who had become essential to its success. Some came out of curiosity, others out of regret. She watched them from afar, remembering the road she had walked in shame. She felt no urge to prove anything. Her life spoke for itself. The farmer never claimed ownership over her fate. When the time came, he offered her a choice: to stay, to leave, to claim land of her own. Choice. A word she had rarely known. She chose to stay, not out of obligation, but because she had found dignity there.